Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS. Let's get to the news. Alright, Falcons fans, sit tight because what I'm about to tell you is nothing short of intriguing. The Atlanta Falcons, a team with a rich history, a passionate fan base, and a roster that's been in a constant state of evolution over the past few seasons, are now at a critical juncture. After a season that left many fans divided, some optimistic, others concerned about their defensive consistency, there's a palpable sense that the Falcons are making strategic moves to finally cement themselves as serious contenders in the NFC South and maybe even beyond. And today, we're diving deep into some of the latest rumors, potential trades, and what this all means for the team's future. Let's start by acknowledging that the Falcons have been investing heavily on the offensive side of the ball in recent years. They've brought in playmakers, drafted high-impact skill position players, and have built what could be one of the most exciting offenses in the league. The quarterback situation with Desmond Ridder is one of the most talked-about topics, with many fans eager to see if he can finally take that leap and solidify his role as the franchise quarterback. The offensive line has also seen some improvements, but it's clear that the team's real focus has been on making sure that the offense is potent enough to keep pace with some of the league's best. However, the true challenge for the Falcons, and what many experts believe will define their success in 2024 and beyond, lies on the defensive side of the ball. This is where things get interesting. For a team that finished last season with a defense that left much to be desired, especially against the run, the Falcons are reportedly looking to make some key additions. And one name that's been circulating in NFL circles is Shelby Harris, a veteran defensive lineman with nearly a decade of experience in the league. Now, why does that matter? Well, Harris brings a dimension that Atlanta desperately needs: stability, toughness, and veteran leadership in the trenches. The Falcons have invested in their defense through the draft, selecting Jalon Walker at number 15 and James Pierce Jr. at no. 26, but sometimes, the difference between a good run defense and a great one comes down to the presence of experienced players who know how to command the line of scrimmage. And that's exactly what Harris offers. He's not a superstar, but he's a dependable run stopper, a player who can plug gaps, set the edge, and give the linebackers more freedom to make plays. His stats over his career, 27. 5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, show that he's capable of making disruptive plays. But more importantly, his leadership qualities are what could really push the Falcons' front to the next level. The team's current interior group, without Grady Jarrett, who was unfortunately released this offseason, leaves a bit of a void in experience and leadership. Harris could fill that gap seamlessly, providing that veteran presence that the team's young players need to develop and succeed. Financially, it makes a lot of sense too. The Falcons have just under $5 million in cap space, and Harris's salary is quite reasonable, just over $1 million in 2024, with a manageable cap hit for 2025. So, this isn't just a move about needing help. It's a move that aligns with the team's cap management and strategic planning. Bringing in someone like Harris would not only improve their run defense, but also send a message that the Falcons are serious about competing now. Now, let's talk a bit more about that run defense. Last season, they finished around league average, ranking 15th in rushing yards allowed. On paper, that might seem acceptable, but the real issues showed up in critical moments, third downs, for example, where opponents converted at a rate of over 45%. That's not just a small problem, it's a significant red flag. When you're giving up crucial third down conversions, it puts enormous pressure on your offense to keep scoring. And for a team that's still developing its offensive identity, that's not an ideal scenario. It's clear that Atlanta's front seven, especially on early downs, needs to be more stout, more consistent, and more disciplined. This brings us to the big question: what about the players already on the roster? There's a lot of buzz about young talents like Zach Harrison and Orhor Horo. The Falcons are banking on these guys to step up and fill the gaps, but the truth is, they're still unproven at this level. The coaching staff is counting on their development, but adding a seasoned veteran like Harris would give these young players time to learn while still making an immediate impact. It's a classic case of balancing youth with experience, and it's exactly the kind of move that could tip the scales in Atlanta's favor. Another aspect to consider is the overall defensive scheme. Coach Arthur Smith has been emphasizing that the team needs to be more aggressive against the run to set the tone early in games. The addition of a player like Harris could facilitate that mindset. His presence alone can change how offenses approach the game plan. It's about imposing physicality and establishing dominance up front. And of course, in a division like the NFC South, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New Orleans Saints, and Carolina Panthers are all rebuilding or retooling, Atlanta has a real shot to emerge as the division's top dog if they get this right. Now, it's worth mentioning that the Falcons' front office isn't just making moves on a whim. They've been meticulous in their approach, focusing on building a sustainable, competitive roster. Drafting those two young defensive players was part of that long-term vision, but sometimes you need to supplement youth with veteran savvy. Harris could be that missing piece that helps turn a decent run defense into a truly formidable one. Let's also remember the bigger picture here. The Falcons aren't just playing for the regular season. The goal is to make a deep playoff run, maybe even a Super Bowl appearance. The NFC South has historically been a competitive division, but right now, it's wide open. The Saints are still trying to find consistency, the Panthers are rebuilding, and the Buccaneers are adjusting after a rough season. That's why every move counts, and why Atlanta's front office is probably exploring every option to give their team the best chance to succeed. And speaking of the division, it's interesting to note how these strategic moves might shake up the balance of power. If the Falcons bolster their run defense and improve in key areas, they could become a more well-rounded team capable of controlling the clock and dominating on both sides of the ball. That's a dangerous combination in today's NFL, where control of the tempo and possession can often decide playoff success. It's a reminder that football is a game of inches, and sometimes, the difference between a division title and a disappointing season comes down to those little strategic nuances, like adding a veteran run stopper before the season even begins. Now, let's not forget the fans, because at the end of the day, it's your passion and your support that keeps this team going. The energy in Atlanta, the chants at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the hope that this could finally be the year the Falcons break through, these are the things that make this team special. And with every offseason move, every draft pick, and every trade rumor, you guys are at the heart of it all. That's why staying informed, engaged, and optimistic is so important. The Falcons have a talented roster, a dedicated coaching staff, and a city that's hungry for success. It's all about putting the pieces together at the right time. Now, I want to bring you back to the big picture. The NFL is a league of constant change, and the teams that adapt quickest are often the ones who find success. For Atlanta, it's about tightening up that run defense, adding depth, and making sure that the defense complements the explosive offense they're building. A veteran like Shelby Harris could be the key to unlocking their full potential, creating a more balanced team ready to take on any challenge. And with the NFC South being more open than ever, this could be the year the Falcons finally re-establish themselves as division champions and make a serious playoff push. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So what do you think, Falcons fans? Are you excited about the possibility of adding a player like Shelby Harris? Do you believe that strengthening the defensive line is the missing puzzle piece? Or do you think the Falcons should focus elsewhere in free agency or the draft? Whatever your thoughts, I want to hear from you. Drop your comments below and tell me how you see this unfolding. Are you optimistic about the team's future? Do you believe that this defensive upgrade can finally propel Atlanta into playoff contention? I know the passion runs deep in this fan base, and your voice matters. And remember, the NFL offseason is just getting started. The draft, free agency, potential trades, everything is on the table, and the Falcons are players in this game. They're building something special, and I truly believe that the moves they make now could be what pushes them over the edge in 2024. The team's future is bright, And with the right pieces in place, Atlanta could be a force to be reckoned with very soon. So stay tuned, keep supporting your team, and let's see how all these rumors and strategies play out in the coming weeks. The best is yet to come for the Atlanta Falcons. Thanks for being with me today, and I'll be back soon with more updates, insights, and all the news you need to stay ahead of the game. Remember, this is your channel, your community, your Falcons. Let's keep the passion alive and continue dreaming of that Super Bowl run. Until next time, Falcons fans, stay safe, stay excited, and as always, keep the faith.